With the brand new reveal of LEGO sets for Avengers Doomsday coming out later this year, I noticed some major flaws in some of the sets, and loads of different characters that were missing. Now, this does not mean that there's no good way to have these characters, or that LEGO will never come back and revisit them, but if you're looking for them right now, here's a few good ways to do that. The first is just a basic upgrade. In the Quinjet, we get a Captain America, and he is basically the same one as Brave New World, except he's missing his helmet piece, which I have right here. He's also missing his wings and shield from the CMF, which I think that adding all of these, maybe not the mask, but definitely both of the wings and the shield, to that Captain America figure would be a perfect Captain America figure. The dual molded legs with the printing is awesome compared to an upgrade, so I think that that was really good, but those are the things that could be using an upgrade. Now for Thor, I think that the Thor that comes in the Sentinel set is cool in some aspects, but it's kind of disappointing. So here's my custom Avengers Doomsday Thor. As you can see, I have a face from an older Thor figure, which I think it represents the color of his beard and hair way better than the set that we got, or the figure that we got in the set. Then this cape back here is only single hold, but that's just because I didn't have any double hold left. This Stormbreaker axe, I think, is also a way better design than the one that LEGO has been giving us. And I'm sure other people have better designs than this one, but this is the one that I like to use in my collection. I also gave him these dual molded arms that I got on Bellatrix Lestrange, because they represent the bracers that he has around his wrists. And then the leg printing is, like, inaccurate, but I think that it works better than just plain legs in this case. And then for the torso, this one is the Infinity War torso, and I think that it works fine to represent his, like, lightning powered up version, but I really wish that we would have gotten the gold dots like in Doomsday. So that's my custom Thor there. Now, for another custom kind of related to Thor, we have the Steve Rogers that I made. He has these legs that I'm pretty sure I got on Electro from Spider-Man No Way Home. They have the pockets printed, and they represent kind of just like casual pants. I also gave him the torso from the original Infinity War Bruce Banner, which I know, like, in the movie poster, he just has like a plain t-shirt, but this was the best thing that I thought matched him in my personal collection. I also gave him the head from Series Black, which I think represents, like, the look of Chris Evans fairly well as giving him that beard, considering I do not have the Infinity War figure. And then the hair, I really like the way that it looks here in the front, but I think that the back could definitely be longer, and that would make, like, the perfect figure of him. I'm not sure if this will be in the movie, but there's just this basic Captain America shield for Steve Rogers. Not, if you want to see the comparison to the Sam Wilson version, Sam Wilson's is a lot more detailed and has a darker blue. So I hope that we get to see both shields in the movie, as well as, of course, Mjolnir, which we see in the trailer that Steve is still worthy of wielding Mjolnir. Or you could have Thor wield it, because when we first see Thor, he has them both. So those are some really cool, I guess, an upgrade to the Doomsday version, and then a custom figure entirely. Now, a figure that I think is the best representation would be this Beast. I know from like a few, I think, Hot Toys figures that came out, we see that Beast kind of looks basically like this, except I know that he has shorter hair, and he has shorts that come down lower on his legs. However, I think that with the pieces we have at the moment, this is probably the best Beast we could make. I know that there is dual dark blue and blue legs from, I think, Rex from the LEGO Movie 2 that include printing, but I'm sure you could just erase the printing and they would work fine. However, this gives you his, like, foot printing and his fur printing, which I think both of those are awesome. Now, going in kind of the same vein as Sam Wilson, we have this custom Joaquin Torres that I made. I made this a while back when the Brave New World movie came out, but I think that from everything I've seen, his costume is the exact same in Doomsday. So here is this Joaquin. He has the head and hair combo from the newer Infinity War Burst banner. He has the printed arms from the Mandalorian Beskar suit, and then the torso from just his official set, as well as these legs from Lucy from the Lego Movie 2. They're dual molded, and I think that the bottom part should be gray, but I think other than that, they work very well for him, and it was definitely the best part that I had in my collection. Now, you can also just give him this mask here from Brave New World, his official figure, which represents his mask pretty well. I think that I know that Lego gave him this official, or in his official figure, Lego gave him this helmet here with an extra visor, because as you can see, it's printed right there, and then they gave him an extra one for some reason. So I think that this piece is completely stupid. I think that his head works perfectly enough for his mask piece. They also gave him these bulky brick-built wings in the set, which I think are probably still the best. However, I would really like to see a wing style similar to like this was from the Falcon in Civil War, or even these Captain America wings that we took a look at a bit earlier. I would love to see something like that for Joaquin in the future, because these are like basically a brick thick at the wing, and I just feel like the thinner ones work so much better. And these ones like don't even have like that great of posability, and they tend to break off a lot, like I just demonstrated there in the back. So those are probably the best wings. I would also love to see for both Sam and Joaquin, I would love to see a element similar to this backpack, which I got on like a CMF Alien Torres. I would love to see this in like their color, because most of the time we just get like their backpack and like folded up wings just printed on their back. I'd love to get a custom molded piece for them, and this I think in a similar style to this, where you can like just put it onto the neck and it'll work good. I think that would be awesome. But that is really all that I have to say about this custom Joaquin. Now, for another figure that is basically the same as like how we saw him before, we got Shang-Chi, who, judging from the Marvel Legends figure, he's basically the exact same as we saw him in his official movie. However, this figure is not. I used the official hair and the official torso, and I guess the official arms, but that's about it. I gave him these printed legs from like a Star Wars set that I got. He just has black pants, so I think that having legs without printing on him is not the worst. Like, I think that it works better than for somebody like Thor, who like has a detailed costume. But these basically just represent normal pants, so I think that these are like pretty good to use if you have them. If not, just the black legs work fine. And then of course the torso is like custom printed for him, so that's the best that we can get. I also gave him these rings on his wrists as well as on his hands, just to show that he has more than 2 rings. And you can also like kind of see, like, use it as if he's like throwing them. I think that that's a pretty cool design there. And then for the head, I used Wong, because I think that the facial hair kind of matches him better. And then to match up with the head, I also added these hands, which I think this figure looks awesome. And then, moving on to the last figure I have in this video today. So if you would like to see a part 2 to this, where I show more characters that were not in the Doomsday sets, let me know down in the comments, as well as like this video. And if you like my other content on my channel, please, it would really help if you subscribed to my channel. The last figure is going to be this Ghost. So this Ghost is in her like new Avengers look, which is pretty similar to her Thunderbolts look. So this is basically just a Thunderbolts Ghost. I used the head and hair from No Way Home MJ, because I think that the skin tone matches the actress as well as the hair color. The hair piece I'm not like super happy with, and I feel like if I would have looked a bit harder on Bricklink, there would maybe have been better options to use. However, I saw this one in my own collection, and I thought that it was a really good hair piece for her, so I just decided to use that. For the torso, it is Civil War Bucky flipped around. I think that the front side like also has like some potential to work. However, I think that the back side like more accurately represents like the strap that she has on her torso. And then the legs, I'm pretty sure I got from like a Tom Riddle in some sort of Harry Potter book, which I think is an amazing leg piece for her, because her legs are fairly plain, except she does have like a skirt or something similar to that coming around her legs, which this kind of represents, as you can see right there. My one gripe is that it has like a tiny little bit of white pixels there, or pixels, like little printing, which I think does not represent the character, and I could like use the eraser method or another method of removing the printing. I just don't find it to be that big of a deal, and if anything, it gives just a bit more detail to the legs. But yeah, those are all the figures that I have for Avengers Doomsday. Again, make sure to like and comment if you would like to see another video similar to this with characters like Sue Storm and Ant-Man and maybe other characters that we see in the movie when it gets closer to the release date. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.